What up, sports fans all over the world? It is your boy,
Yo,
Mac
yo,
the
yo.
Giants fan. And I'm here with my guys, the horsemen, Adam Costas, Zion Zenith. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for the Premium Takes Podcast. Let's go!
What up, what up, what up, what up? Thank you, Mac, for that amazing intro like always. Once again, thank you guys for coming to us and joining us live on our Thursday afternoon, right before Thursday night football between the Broncos and the Saints. That being said, what's up, the chat? We got Nomads in the building. We got Daniel in the building. That being said, a lot of stuff happened in the world of the NFL with trades this week. Also, we're going to be previewing the games as always. But before we begin on that, NBL playoffs, MLB playoffs is in full effect. And I know Mac is our designated baseball guy. So I'm just going to turn the mic over to him and he can catch us up in the world of baseball, in the baseball playoffs. Let's get it, Mac.
Well, I mean, the NLCS in full effect, man. Game 3 last night didn't go the way I would have liked it to go. Nonetheless, the Dodgers up right now on the Mets 2-1, and with Game 4 tonight at 8:08, and back in City Field. The Mets, man, gotta wake up tonight, man. They gotta get them bats. They gotta get they gotta stop stranding base runners, man. That wasn't really the issue last night. They were getting guys on base, man. They just couldn't get them around. They couldn't get them around the bases. And this night they gotta put some runs on the board. Point blank and bottom line. I mean, because already any chance of winning this series is going to have to go back to LA now for the New York Mets, and that's something that I know they were desperately trying to avoid. But last night it just wasn't their night. It's also kind of weird because in this series, man, both the Mets losses have come in shutout fashion. I mean, 9-0 in Game 1, and then last night 8-0 last night as well. It's been a weird roller coaster of a series already. And let's see what happens tonight in Game 4. But the New York Mets definitely need this one, man, because they can't. They don't want to get a situation where they got to go back and win and take 2 in LA. I mean, best case scenario is they win Game 4 and win in Game 5 here in Queens, and then go back to LA only needing one of those games. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. But also right now, currently the Yankees are playing right now. As a matter of fact, Yankees uh Yankees in Cleveland in Game 3 out in Cleveland, man. And let me get the score check for you guys right now. But Yankees thus far have dominated through the first 2 games of this series. Right now, currently the Yankees are down 2-0. It's 2-1, excuse me, in the bottom of the third. Cleveland's got a man second right now with no outs. So we'll keep you posted on that as things continue to move in that game right there, the early game, the ALCS. But yeah, the Yanks been pretty much dominating through the first couple. So I don't know if you got anything to say about it, Adam.
Juan Carlos Stanton. See, here's the thing. People were mad at Aaron Judge, right? Not hitting. But this is why you got Juan Carlos Stanton, right? This is what he's stepped up in a big way. He's getting hits. They're moving the baseball around. They're scoring runs. And this is what you want, October baseball to be for the Yankees. Aaron Boone's making good decisions in terms of when he's bringing his bullpen in. So, and tinkering with the lineup when he needs to. I mean, this is the type of stuff that, you want to see from the Yankees, right? So let's see if they can keep it up. The Guardians, I was about to say the other word that they were, don't want to get monetized.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that, Adam. After all these years, people are so offended by that word now. Don't say that.
Oh, man. Anyways, we'll see what they can do tonight. They don't need to, Cleveland's going to come out and play their hearts out to desperate times call for desperate measures, and we'll see. I think the only thing that's going to stop the Yankees, to be honest, is the Yankees. So that's all I got to say. Let's keep going. Let's hit the World Series, and Mets, do your part. I would love to see a Subway Series World Series again. Hasn't happened in what 20-something years. It would be great to see for the city of New York. They need that. I'm telling you, they need it.
I mean, I would love to see it. I mean, Subway Series back in 2000 didn't go the way I wanted it. So I would love to get a little bit of
revenge,
a little bit of get back there. Yeah, I'm still bitter. 20 plus years ago, I'm still bitter.
Mac was a young man, 20-something years young. Right now, he's an older man. Still couldn't let the grudge go. Listen, Mac, I'm sorry. I apologize. For what happened. Actually, I really don't. I don't. The Mets were hot. They thought they were going to do it, and they didn't. I mean, I liked Piazza and what he brought to the lineup, and he kind of got you guys there. And you had decent pitching, but you met the Yankees with that lineup that they had, and of course, the greatest closer of all time. So when you have Clemens and Johnson, I think Pettit was on that team too. Decent pitching those couple nights, right? I mean, it is what it is,
Yeah, I mean, that was just I just would love to get another opportunity, another crack at him in the series.
Well said. And I'm just, I'm a pathetic, I guess, Los Angeles Dodgers fans that don't even follow baseball. But all I know is if
and you have the best player in the fucking game.
Yeah, that's why I chose them. And I honestly, guys, I'm gonna start watching it as it gets closer. But honestly, if the Mets beat us, I'm gonna follow the Mets throughout the playoffs because they're the 6th seed coming into this. We were the 1st seed. We should win out the series, but who knows? Rooting for the Mets, I like that. Like I said, I'm a pathetic Los Angeles Dodger fan. I'm rooting for the Mets because my man Mac is a Mets fan, and even though I'm a Dodgers fan, I'm just a bandwagon because of Shohei. That being said, though, New York Yankees are the number 1 seed. Looks like they have the Guardians pretty handled at the moment. Obviously the Guardians is leading in the game, but New York is probably going to come back. But we'll see what happens. I don't know baseball enough to talk on it. That being said, a sport that I think I know something about. Let's go talk about NCAA football. We had a big matchup this past week. We had Ohio State Buckeyes versus the Oregon Ducks. I'm gonna go out and say I've been rooting for the Ducks since the season started. I do really believe that they do have an elite head coach in Dan. I do have a elite roster, and I think they showed that they can compete with any team in the nation. This was the first big test, the biggest test of probably the franchise's history if you go to modern day football. With the Ohio State Buckeyes, the best team in the last probably 10 years in the Big Ten. But I will say both quarterbacks showed out, had pretty good numbers. Will Howard went 28 for 35, 326 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dylan Gabriel, 23 of 34, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions with 341 yards himself. Both teams effectively rushed the ball. Oregon a little bit better, but Ohio State did its thing at times, and both teams had respectable wide receivers show up. I will say that Stewart did have one of the bigger games of his career, and we all know that Smick and Igbiga is you're going to be playing on Sundays, and I would say the same for Oregon's receivers as well. And I'm going to go to Adam because I know him and me probably did watch majority of this game. I don't know if Mac was busy then, but Mac, please chime in after Adam speaks. But I will say close game. It could have gone down to anybody. Anybody could have took this game 31-32. Oregon almost cost themselves this game by missing the field goal and stuff like that, but they ended up putting it together where it really counted. And both teams are probably going to see each other again in the Big Ten championship game. As much as Penn State won against my team SC, they shouldn't have. We should have beat them. We shouldn't even have let it gone to overtime, but that's a discussion for another time. And as far as Michigan, I don't think Michigan can compete with either Ohio State or the Ducks. Even though they have a strong defense, I don't think the offense will be able to score as much as Ohio State does and as much as Oregon's does. Now, Ohio State, I do still believe they still do have the best roster in the nation. Like I said, this is gonna be a handy rematch, probably for the Big Ten championship, and I won't be surprised. I called this before the season. I know my co-host can vouch for me, and some of my homies can vouch for me. I did have Ohio State losing this game, but getting the revenge in the Big Ten championship, and both teams do actually make the playoffs because you got to think about it. I know I'm holding the mic for a long time, and Adam, I'm gonna let you speak in a minute, but you got to think about it. Yes, teams like Liberty, yes, teams like the Memphis Tigers, yes, teams like Notre Dame, they're probably going to be in the playoffs, but you got to have to get at least there's probably going to be 3 or 4 SEC teams, and there's probably going to be 2 or 3 Big Ten teams, because when it comes to the playoffs this year, they're going to respect the SEC and the Big Ten as major conferences. And of course, the winners of both conferences get bye weeks. That just goes to show you, obviously, Power 4 conferences are gonna get in. Who wins the ACC is gonna get in. Who wins the Big 12 is gonna get in, and then obviously the independent conference with Notre Dame. But that being said, though, I can see both of these teams making the playoffs, but good performance by both teams. I would love to see what Adam has to say about this game. Go ahead, Adam.
I thought it was kind of interesting, because Oregon, excuse me, doesn't have the reputation that Ohio State does. They do have a reputation of winning. And last year, obviously, they had Bo Nix out there. They were slinging the rock around, but they haven't been this good since, I guess, the days of Mariota, when Mariota was their quarterback. Right. And I don't want to compare Dylan Gabriel to them, but what I'm saying is, and even that team was severely flawed when it came to facing teams like Ohio State. Usually they would get their doors blown off because they just weren't physically big enough.
Yeah, Oregon was always known for that team that's going to come out with that nice, fresh Nike uniforms.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
They get the new highlighter uniforms. They're going to show out on a nice game, but usually they get blown out in their playoff game because they can't compete with the big time teams. This time, they did it. They hung with one of the bigger teams in college football, in Ohio State. I thought their quarterback helped navigate the game very well. He has quick passes, very decisive, knows what he's doing, anticipatory throws. It was fun to watch. Howard on the other end, still kind of, he had a good game, but obviously he had some costly mistakes. So, it's college football. I think I don't know the playoff situation and what's going to happen. But for now, it's looking promising that these two teams might meet up. And I just think the Oregon Ducks, we have to respect them now, because this wasn't a win just to win. This was a big time win. And let's see what they can do off this win. The win's only as good if you can parlay that into, winning your next couple of games, right? So
it's kind of like the NFL, right? Teams in week 10, once they get that momentum, let's just talk about the Giants in 06, 07 playoffs. You know what I'm saying? We will go on that win streak, we gain the momentum, and we beat the undefeated Patriots.
But you beat a team that, is Ohio State. They got prestige, pedigree. They're destined to win the national title or be in the mix every year. Oregon is in and out of it due to how they play with their quarterbacks. They're not always in this prominent of a spotlight. So to come out and do this and put their name out there to say, hey, yeah, we're one of the top teams in college football, respect our name, then that's what you want to see. And it's going to hopefully propel them to maybe, having a hot streak and delivering in the natty, right? When you get to the playoffs, don't let this win be your national title and say, yeah, we beat Ohio State, great. And then, kind of just meander through the season, build off of it. And Ohio State, learn from it, right? You lick your wounds, come back. It's not over for you at all. Like Zion said, you might meet them again. And at that point, maybe you'll have a little wrinkle here, a little wrinkle there that they haven't seen, and you still have your chance. So I thought it was a great game. I love that that college has done a playoff format now, because I think, I think it helps alleviate some of the tension, because right now they're both 5-0. Oh, wow, the Ducks are undefeated. So technically, in the old format system right now, they'd probably be number one, quote unquote, right? And they're probably number one in the ranking system anyways, but the old rankings. And then that they determine how you get a bowl game off of all that crap. This time you got to earn it. So this is going to be good. And like I said, I know I'm rambling on, but I think Ohio State will bounce back and continue on, and maybe we get this game in late November, playing for the championship. I know that the college season is got about 5 weeks left or so, and then they kind of take a month off for bowl games and things like that. So
It's a different format this year. You get 2 buys, and there's 15 weeks. You get multiple buys actually, and if you think about it too, once the playoffs stood to roll around, it's if you win your conference, you're automatically in. So that's the good thing about you get teams like Memphis Tigers that wouldn't have a shot in recent years, but can get in if they
right, because
continue
of
to win their conference, right?
that
Yeah, and
weird college selection show, right? They
yeah,
like, oh,
honestly, this is what I'm glad you brought up because this is what kind of pisses me off. And with all due respect to Texas, because I think Texas is one of the top teams in the nation, but I honestly don't like how they kept them at 1. You had Oregon beat the number 2 team when Oregon was number 3, and the AP still puts them at number 2. Like I understand who Texas beat because that's a big win. But at the end of the day, look at the schedule, right? I mean, like,
just because of the Georgia name, really.
yeah, and then that's the thing. The committee is so biased on teams like Alabama, on teams like Georgia. But what I did want to point out is, obviously it doesn't really affect my day to day, so I'm not going to get too upset about it. And SC literally eliminated themselves this past week. But that being said, I want to just take a look and talk about this before we get into some NFL trades. Is Texas remains at number 1. Obviously, I think Oregon should be there, but I agree to disagree. We got Oregon as number 2. Shout out to Penn State. Now, I think this is not me just trying to be a hater. SC is literally 2 plays away from being 6-0 and being 3 plays away from being 6-0 and being undefeated. Obviously, our loss against Michigan, Mullins runs it for 89 yards, like one play like that, the game's over. You have Minnesota, who all of a sudden gets a second wind and scores it with 56 seconds left in the game. I get it. The timeout pauses when you get a first down. The time stops. But at the end of the day, I mean, like, we were stopping them the whole game, and then boom. And then we have Penn State will literally kill in 20-3. And then the second half, we let off the juice, and then all of a sudden they'll take us to overtime, and they win and they capitalize on our mistakes. And as good as a roster SC is, we got to finish, guys. And it's sad to say that we eliminated ourselves last Saturday. We got Ohio State. Obviously, the committee's still going to respect them. They lost against a really, really good team in Oregon. Georgia only lost to Alabama, so they're well respected. We got Miami, obviously, Cam Ward putting his teams in moments and winning when they need to win. Alabama's there, LSU, and the team I really wanted to point out, and I don't know, Adam, if you want to take a moment to talk about Notre Dame, being that your team is definitely in the mix, in the playoff mix, and obviously, 5-1, only losing to obviously a upset in week 2, but you have a lot of ranked teams on your schedule that you can overcome. I'll let you talk. If not, I can continue. But do you want to say anything about Notre Dame? Alrighty, that being said, I will continue. And then we do got. Oh, yep. You want to say anything, Adam?
Oh, sorry. Yes. Notre Dame, I think, starting to find their groove a little bit more. Riley Leonard's playing a little better than he normally has. He's been more of a game manager these last few weeks. He's been able to open it up a bit, and that'll help Notre Dame. And their defense obviously is pretty good, and they have a lot of good athletes out there. Let's keep chugging along because you never know what's going to happen when it's all said and done. You only have 1 loss right now, but another loss could ruin those chances. So let's just keep steady and let's keep it rolling. And the other thing I want to say is Indiana, kind of interesting. I think there's a quarterback on that team that goes by the name of Curtis Rourke. Just wanted to point that out there that he's been having a good season for that team. So, and then of course, Ole Miss, my guy Jackson Dart, man, he had some trouble last week, but it's all right because you're playing LSU. Zion.
Don't everybody all speak all at once.
Well, we'll continue on then, I guess.
I was muted. I'm sorry, I was muted. Thank you for that, Adam. And absolutely, Indiana, what he said with the quarterback, and obviously Ole Miss, losing a big time competitor in LSU. That's the thing about these conferences, man. SEC teams, Big Ten teams, super
Big
super
games.
tough schedule, super tough schedules, right? Um, and if we go on, I do want to point out a team in Boise State, man, representing the Mountain West. Obviously, they got a running back that should be on point to win the
Oh my
Heisman.
God, he's heartbreaking.
This kid is definitely going off. I think he is surpassed 1,000 yards in literally just 6 games. And
Pretty
Gentry
crazy.
is him. If he, I mean, like I get it. It's uh Georgia Southern, but I mean, like if you look at this kid Gentry, I don't even have to look at his yards. Ashton Gentry is literally breaking, and it's not even taking me to the stats, but he's literally having 200-yard games and literally on point to win the Heisman. In every game, he's literally getting over 160 yards on the ground, if not surpassing that 200 mark. 6 games over 1,000 yards. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And then another team that
He'll be a
is
Cowboy next year.
yeah, right. Another team that some would say has the best wide receiver in the nation outside of the guy from Arizona is Missouri, staying in the mix. Obviously losing, but still staying in the mix. And I want to give a shout out to, obviously the fighting on Illini, Illinois hanging in there, beating tough competitors. But I got to shout out our U.S. military, man. Our U.S. military staying undefeated, 6-0 Army, Navy 5-0. Obviously, Michigan's going to be Michigan. The committee's still going to respect them, even with two losses. Even Ole Miss, they're losing against good competition. But Army and Navy, man, shout out to our armed forces, man, because these guys really are there to be officers in the military and not really play football. And even if they get drafted, they do have to commit to the military before anything. Obviously, the military sometimes will give them the benefit of the doubt, but after they play the NFL career, they have to come back and still do their time because they signed to Uncle Sam. But shout out, man. Shout out to the armed forces. And usually the armed forces teams, your body has to be disciplined to be in the military, right? So they don't really get those big linemen or those big defensive line, like maybe a Wisconsin or maybe a Nebraska or maybe a Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama. But shout out to armed forces, man. That being said, that's just a fast breakdown of college ball. Obviously, let's move back into the NFL because there's a lot of major, not really major, but two major trades and two other ones. But you got Cam Akers going from the Texans to the Vikings. We had Roy Robertson Harris going from the Jaguars to the Seahawks. We got the big one, the big two actually. We got Devontae Adams going from the Raiders to the Jets. And then we got Amari Cooper going from the Browns to the Bills. So I'm going to open up the line to Mac. I'm going to let my man Mac discuss what your thoughts about these trades. Most likely Adams and Cooper. But if you want to talk about Akers and Harris, it's all you. Let's get it.
I don't care about the other two. But the Browns clearly, we see what the Browns are doing. I mean, at this point now, they're like this. Fuck it. All right, we're not good. we're gonna see what we can. We're just gonna go out there and see what we can get. I mean, in a sense, it's like at least they realize it. You know what I mean? They're not gonna waste their fucking time. They're not gonna play around. They know that they're garbage, and now they're gonna build some capital. They're gonna get some capital, and I think it's a good move for both teams. I mean, the Jets clearly in need of another playmaker, someone that can make some plays for them consistently. So with Devontae Adams adding him into the mix back with Aaron Rodgers, I mean we can see. I mean Aaron Rodgers, neither one of these guys are the same players they were in Green Bay, but at the end of the day, they definitely still have the ability to make some plays, and some of that magic can come back, bring back some of that old magic. And you never know, maybe the Jets can get some things going, but they are the Jets, so somehow they'll still find a way to probably fuck something up because that's what the Jets do. But also, I mean, Amari Cooper, where the hell did he go again? I forgot that fast. Shit. Who the hell
Amari
traded for
Cooper?
Cooper?
Yeah, so Amari Cooper, he went to the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, Buffalo. That's right. Yeah, now that's just
What
a
up,
great
Alex?
move right there.
Let's
That's
get
giving
it.
Josh.
Loved
That's
your
giving
show with
Josh
Logan, by
Allen
the way.
exactly
Good
what he
shit.
needs. Another once
My
again
man.
giving him a legitimate number one threat. What's going on, Alex? Man, thanks for stopping in, bro. A legitimate number one threat, man. And that's I think right now that's what that Buffalo Bills team needs to sustain what's pretty much been. I mean, they've been the division that they've been dominating over the last few years now. So I think this is a great move for both of those teams, the Cleveland Browns and the Buffalo Bills. Here, I think they're both winners in this trade because the Cleveland Browns know that it's time to tear some shit down and rebuild, and they know Deshaun Watson is not the guy, so they got to go out and get the guy. And I think
In a
they're going to
search for
just
new
add some more
Sanders.
capital to try to add some more capital, add some more draft capital to build around whoever that next quarterback for the Cleveland Browns is
Nah, but
going to
they're
be
stuck
next
with
year.
him. They're stuck with Watson, at least for the next 2 years.
He can be on the team. That don't mean he got to be on the field. God damn it, he stinks right
That
now.
is
I'm
true.
sorry.
That is true. I'm
He
not
is
gonna argue with
terrible.
that. He's tough.
He,
Where's the
he is
where's
terrible right
where's the
now.
Watson we know from Texans, bro? Like,
Come on.
you
I
know,
mean,
that's
he's
long gone.
not
That is
playing better
long
than
gone.
Daniel. He's not even playing better than Daniel. Sorry,
I
he's
agree with
terrible
that. I agree
right
with
now.
that.
And Daniel's playing pretty bad, but
That's how you give Daniel Jones a compliment. Good job.
But yeah, I mean,
He's not
I
dog
think
shit.
both
He's
those
just
trades.
shit.
Yeah, both of those trades just work out though. I think like I said, the Jets. I mean, it could be positive. Like I said, we'll see. But like I said, people are looking for that Green Bay combination. I think they got to kind of pump the brakes on that a little bit. They're going to have to get this version of Rodgers and Devontae Adams, and I think it could still be effective. So we'll see.
You said Cam Akers went to the Vikings?
Yeah, so Cam Akers to the
Yes, he
Vikings, and
did.
we had Harris to the Seahawks. Roy Robertson Harris.
I don't know who that is. I mean, I might
I
know
honestly
who
don't know who that is too, but he plays for the NFL. I just wanted to respect him by saying his name.
He
he
plays
is.
in the
Great.
NFL.
Good. Does he start? I mean, anywho. Okay. Cam Akers. I think it was a solid move for the Vikings. They have Aaron Jones, and you need to keep. I don't know if he's injured, but if he's not injured,
What about you?
you want to keep him healthy, and he brings a little bit of another element out there, so you don't have to run Aaron Jones, who's like an older running back, into the ground. It's kind of a smart move for them to get an extra weapon on the field for Sam Darnold, a guy that can bail you out with dump off screens, can be a change of pace back from Aaron Jones that they have. So, I thought that's a decent move for that team. I mean, I don't know if they'll make any more moves. We'll see. Maybe they'll add a piece on defense. I think they have till November 9th. I think that's when the trade deadline is. Oh, no, excuse me. November 5th is the trade deadline. So there might be some more moves. That's about 3 weeks. And then the two receiver trades. Let's talk about Adams first. It's almost an arms race in the AFC East. Both teams get receivers, but Adams comes along. I don't know how to feel about this. I mean, it was kind of funny because I think it was someone on the NFL Network or one of those shows said the Jets were basically dead in the water after losing to the Buffalo Bills, and then all of a sudden they're back up because they got Devontae Adams the next day. So it's like their seasons ago again, right? So now they have more optimism and it's a new life, and hopefully it works out for them. It seemed like a big charade though. Like Aaron Rodgers has them at his house and he shows all the Pat McAfee show. It's kind of becoming like a reality TV show more than teams playing football. But hopefully it works out for the Jets. They should have won that game on Monday night. They let it slip through their fingers. If Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams on the field at the same time, that's pretty lethal. And then we'll see what they do with Mike Williams there. They might want to trade him. So Jets, see what you can do, man. I mean, this is it. Like, I don't know what Rodgers is planning because to me, if this guy leaves, I don't know how long Devontae Adams has. Maybe another year. Like, this better be like a 2-year deal because otherwise, why am I getting you for the remainder 11 games of the season? I better go on an 11-0 run to get to 13-4. Otherwise, what am I doing? Right? Because right now you're trading. I wouldn't say the Jets season's over, but like the Giants, the Jets are 2-4, and that's a tough hill to climb out of and play perfection all the way with a tough schedule. So to me, if you lose this game with Devontae Adams, you better hope they come back next year with your new coach, whomever that may be, and you guys get your shit together. Because to me, you got a disgruntled wide receiver going to the Jets who are 2-4. It's like, all right, well, what are we doing here? You're 2-4. I know you want Devontae Adams. I hope he's instant offense for you. If not, you're just gonna have a bunch of stars sitting there, and you're gonna be what? Let's say 8-8 or something like that, 7-10. You're like, what? We wasted all this time and effort, and we did nothing. And so that's what I'm saying. This better be that if I'm the owner and I'm the GM or whoever, Aaron Rodgers, do I have you next season? Okay, great. We'll trade for Devontae Adams. Because otherwise, what are you doing? It's not like they were 5-1, and you're like, let's get Devontae Adams, put us over the top, yay! No, you're 2-4. You're looking for a spark. You better hope that you're not wasting valuable resources. You better hope that guy's also there next year. Otherwise, to me, it's a waste of time. The other trade, Amari Cooper. I'm hoping it's a good trade. Amari Cooper, they say that Cleveland, kind of is a ragtag place to play, right? Everyone's career goes there to die. Look at Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper. Let's hope this rejuvenates him. Because if it rejuvenates him, the Buffalo Bills have a legit number one guy who's not going to cause any problems, who's going to open up a lot of things for them for their tight end, Kate Otten and Keon Coleman, and then, of course, Cook. Get him going, right? And with Josh Allen out there, to have this legitimate of a receiver, a good player, I'm not saying it's going to necessarily put them over the top or anything like that, but it allows for them to, roll some coverages, be a little bit more lethal on offense, a little different than when they had Stephon Diggs, right? Cooper is a little bit more reliable, a little bit more of a physical receiver. He does have great speed as well, but, Stephon Diggs is a little bit more vertical and things like that. So hopefully you'll see them, he'll rejuvenate his career. I hope it works out, because sometimes, he's playing bad in Cleveland. Does that mean he's washed? I hope he's not washed, because I'd love to see Amari Cooper get a chance to play with a good quarterback. He hasn't played with a good quarterback since Dak Prescott. He came in with the Raiders. They had nobody. He went to the Cowboys. He had a somebody. He goes to the Cleveland. They have nobody. And now he goes back to Josh Allen, who's a somebody. Let's hope that makes him a better player. So that's all I got.
Well said, guys. Yeah, so I'm like Mac. I just wanted to mention those guys' names, but I'm not going to take too much time talking about Akers or Harris. Obviously, Akers to the Vikings, Harris to the Seahawks. I'm going to take my time talking about Cooper for a bit. I think Adam hit it on the nail. Obviously, this guy is not a diva. He's just going to come in and he's just going to produce if he gets a chance. I don't think maybe Cleveland was using him the correct way, and thank God that Josh Allen actually gets a wide receiver, because of the fact that Dalton Kincaid wasn't really stepping up as much as I thought he was gonna step up. Coming into the season, I thought it was gonna be the Cooks and the Dalton Kincaid show, and obviously you got a handful of good receivers, but not nobody special that really
This
stood
might
out.
help him.
Obviously they can, and that's why I love this, because they can. Someone like Sakur can take the next level. I mean, like, we've seen wide receivers come in and not do so good, and then all of a sudden take the next level. And when you have someone that demands, go ahead.
Think about this, right? You just said something that's interesting. That Shakir guy, right? Mm-hmm. He was being played as, I don't know if he was the number one, but obviously
he's being played as the number one, yeah.
Right. So guess what? That means the number one corner's on you. So his numbers are probably going to dip because he's not necessarily a number one. So now you put him on the number 2 spot, or even the 3 spot if you move him in to slot because you like Keon Coleman's size. And so now you have Cooper, you have Dalton Kincaid, you can have Coleman there. This guy can now eat a little bit more because he's not going to have the best defender on him. So the move you're talking about right now helps two people out.
And Coleman could disappear in the secondary, because now we have to Cooper has to demand attention. So now Coleman can get loose as well. I absolutely love that take. And get into Devontae Adams. I'm not like most people. I look at a guy's career and I try to judge that, right? So yes, is Aaron Rodgers taking a step behind? Absolutely. I'm crazy if I say he wasn't. But I honestly think I kind of feel sorry for I don't really feel sorry for them, but I would say I would go as far as, you know, Adams on the Raiders. I mean, like, he went there to play with his college buddy, and then they trade his college buddy, or they choose not to pay his college buddy, and then he gets a washed up Jimmy. I mean, like, who wants a washed up Jimmy? You know what I'm saying? So, and then he's
Pause.
he's sacrificing his life every damn week last season for what? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand it. As much as I respect the Raiders, and I at least try to, obviously I think this is a good move for them. You know, it wasn't working out. Adams didn't want to play there no more, and he gets to go play for his quarterback that we had so much memories watching. Now, Father Time is hidden, and it's hidden pretty hard, but also too, that line is not blocking as effective as they could. Now, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to defend Aaron Rodgers, because yes, his arm looks like it's fading, and he's not the Aaron Rodgers to see what he once was 10 years ago. But I'm not. I'm still gonna stand here, and I'm still gonna respect his mind. And now, when you bring him a player, like, I get it, he's a diva quarterback, and I understand everything has to be right for Aaron Rodgers, and the team's gonna move heaven and earth to get him that. I understand that, guys. But at the end of the day, now that he gets another one of his wide receivers, and we can honestly say the same shit happened for, like, Tom Brady and Gronkowski. Let's not act like it didn't, right? So, but obviously Tom Brady was him. He didn't look. He looked like he took a step backwards, and obviously Tampa had that good defense. And I'm not saying the Jets are going to get near to the Super Bowl, but that probably motivates your quarterback that you paid so much and traded so much for to maybe stay, like Adam and Mac was saying, stay an extra season. Now you bring in a wide receiver. Now Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers, if everything works right, can have a couple of more years in the league, and go out playing together for the Jets. But hopefully we don't see it split, and then Aaron Rodgers plays with Vikings, and then Adams retires, right? And anything could happen. But all I'm gonna say is I kind of like this, because I honestly think that it gives Aaron Rodgers a ripping where he can actually get more comfortable, because he knows it's almost like that. It's almost like Daniel Jones looking for Slayton. Like, he trusted Slayton because they was in the same draft. They came into the league at the same time, so he's always going to be his luck. It just, you know, obviously Malik Neighbors is him, but he can. Slayton is someone that he can depend on. That he knows how Slayton moves, and he knows how to time Slayton. Same for Adams. So I think it's going to open up the Jets' offense to run the football, because when you have a dynamic player like Brees Hall, you give him the fucking football. So I don't care if it's Aaron Rodgers. It's not the Aaron Rodgers of 10 years ago. So the offense should run through Brees Hall, and then let Aaron Rodgers and Adams mess them up in the passing game after Brees Hall. You're worried about Brees Hall in the running game. That being said, let's move on. Let's just get to some comments real fast. If Garrett Wilson wasn't enough, Jets need more attention than Adams to be a Super Bowl contenders. Now, I think that the AFC is too strong for the Jets. Obviously, they can still possibly win their division. We don't know what's going on. I mean, like, obviously, Buffalo's probably gonna take it, but Miami looks kind of washed. Obviously, I don't see Drake May in his first year reviving that Patriots. So that being said, like, they could be in the mix, but I don't think they're gonna beat teams like the Chiefs in the playoffs, the Ravens in the playoffs. I don't even think they're gonna beat teams like the Buffalo in the playoffs. So, you know, who knows? And then they also need a new quarterback and O-line. A lot of O-line help. I absolutely agree. And I say they draft a quarterback and they take the Green Bay approach. I can see Aaron Rodgers staying for a season or two, unless he absolutely shuts the bed. But let's not act like these wide receivers are not dropping passes and shit like that, right? So yes, it's on him too. It's absolutely on Aaron Rodgers. But I think if you draft a QB and you let him sit, because I don't think I with this Adams trade, I don't think the Jets are gonna finish like where we thought they was gonna finish in the draft. I think they're gonna get a couple of more wins now that you have Adams, and it's the combination. It's not just Adams. It's not just Aaron Rodgers. I know they're old, but at the end of the day, do you see? It depends on. It depends on. That's what I said. I see him if he finishes. If they have good connection, I can see him maybe for next year and have the quarterback sit behind him. Slim chance, absolutely. But I'm gonna pass the mic to my co-host and see if there's anything NFL related that you guys want to talk about before we get into the games.
Nope.
I mean,
I mean,
Oh, I need
yeah,
it.
not,
Let me get
Not really.
the. Alrighty, perfect. Let me get the share screen up. But before I do that, we can actually just talk about tonight's game. Denver and versus New Orleans. Go right ahead, Mac. Who you got in mind?
Gotta go
Answer
with the
that.
guy, man. Gotta go with the guy.
I mean, I am gonna go with my guy. I'm gonna go with my guy Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos, just because Bo Nix is my guy. I know. It hasn't been the prettiest transition yet, but it's still
He's no
been
Will Levis.
you know
It'd be
kind of
looking scared
kind
on
of
those streets,
effective.
but just talking about. But
It's
he's a
been
rookie.
kind.
He's
It's
a
still
rookie.
been kind of effective. You know what I mean? He's got the
Yeah.
Broncos at least
Yes.
playing. He's got them playing competitive
He's a
football. I
rookie.
mean,
Yep. Absolutely.
he's got them. So I mean, week in and week out, it's not. It's not. He's not. He's not. It's not looking like Caleb and Jaden out there. You know what I mean? It's not. The light bulb ain't don't seem to be shining quite that bright. But at the end of the day, man, he's still been playing some solid football, and he's got the Broncos a couple of wins this season. I mean, and Spencer Rattler a week ago, for what it's worth, man, he didn't look horrible in his first career NFL start. For that to be your first career start, that wasn't a terrible day at the office. I mean, for a fifth round draft pick coming in there, I mean, and going ahead and go head up with the who they playing, the Buccaneers, right? The Tampa Bay
hmm
Bucks.
hmm
Yes.
Division
So I
opponent. Tough
mean,
division opponent.
The best, probably second best team in the
exactly,
conference.
and I mean, they went toe to toe with him. I mean, most of the afternoon. So most of the afternoon. I mean, until it got away from him. But so this game could be interesting, but I wouldn't expect too many fireworks. You know what I mean? These are two rookie quarterbacks on a short week on Thursday night, and I think the Broncos get them in a close one.
Yeah, you do have Patrick Surtain, the number one, if not top three, best cornerback in the league, going to be out for this one. You have the Saints, two starting wide receivers, going to be out for this one as well. So yeah, should be. Yeah, I have it two ways. It's either going to
So
be a
he's
low end
on
scoring
injured
game.
reserve. He's done. He's
It's
he's
either
on the
gonna,
shelf. He's out for the year.
yeah, it's either going to be a low scoring field goal type of defensive type of game. It's going to be a clash where these two young quarterbacks duel it out. And as impressive as these defenses has looked, the Saints has kind of came down back down to earth, and Broncos had seen tougher competition. So when you go into a game like that, where it's leaning a low scoring defensive type of game. It could be a shootout with two young quarterbacks with weapons, with these wide receivers that's trying to prove themselves now that they get opportunities. So I'd like to hear what Adam has to say about this game before I make my decision.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and go with the New Orleans Saints. I mean, Spencer Rattler. You got to look at the task he had to go up against. Whether we like it or not, we need to put respect on the Buccaneers' names because they have been dominating opponents for most of the season. The teams they've played, the Eagles, the Saints. The only game they got railroaded in was this Bronco game where they went down to their competition a little bit, right, and kind of mullied around. I think they also lost another game too, but the four games they won, they've been pretty handily. The Commanders, right? So we may have to respect the Buccaneers. And with that being said, I think the Saints are going to do just enough to outwit the Broncos, right? Bo Nix, while I like him coming out, Spencer Rattler, I also like coming out, but I like a little bit more of what I saw with Rattler as opposed to Nix. They're letting him throw downfield a little bit more with Rattler. He's got a little bit more mobility to extend plays. So, and he has a better offensive kind of, configuration here, right? The receivers on the Broncos I'm not too familiar with, but the Saints have a lot of weapons besides Rashid, right? They have Alvin Kamara. They still have Chris Olave, and they got a few guys that can make
Oh,
some plays for
Olave's
the.
out.
Well, he's out.
Yeah, two
Olave's
wide
out tonight.
receivers,
Yeah.
two third, and Olave and Rashid is out for the Saints tonight.
Well, they still have Kamara. He's a big part of their offense.
Look to Bub to step up.
Bub, that's his
Mm-hmm.
name.
Yeah, he had 8 targets. I'm trying to remember his last name. He had
But like
eight
I said,
targets last week.
I think Alvin Kamara he's not the Alvin Kamara that we remembered. The do it all back. but that's who you got to go.
Bub Means is his name.
But that name makes you halt real quick, man. That's the only thing you can say. But
You got to
anyway,
provide the fans the information. And I will
yeah,
say this before you continue. We also have, I just want to list the names that you should be hearing called tonight. We have Bub Means. We also do have, what is
I
this
love
other
that
kid's
name.
name? Let me just look right
My new
now.
favorite player is Bub Means.
Yeah, Bub. Look for Bub. You also want to look for, I believe, Cedric Wilson Jr. might be in the mix as well. Obviously, Jawan Johnson is going to get a lot of the
But see,
targets with
my
Alvin
point is,
Kamara, like you said.
I just think what the Saints did against the Buccaneers last year gives me a little bit more. Last week, excuse me. I give them the
Mason
little edge.
Tipton
So,
as well. Sorry.
so that's why I give them the edge because the Broncos they have trouble scoring points. They're not the greatest scorer of teams, and the Saints, even with Spencer Rattler, still put up 27 points. Right, that's pretty good. To think about that, the rookie coming in there, leading your team down with 27 points. So that I kind of give it to the Saints on from what I saw from last week to this week. I know the Broncos played the Chargers, who are, a little bit ahead of them in terms of where they're at in their football journey, but I still think the Saints in that dome, it's going to be a little too much for Bo Nix.
I am gonna have to go with the Denver Broncos. I think it would
Fine.
be too much for Bo Nix, but it's the starting quarterback and the two starting wide receivers is not playing. As much as I want to root for Bub because I think that's a cool name. And Patrick Surtain is not in the game.
Watch. He's going
I
to score a
just don't.
touchdown.
He is definitely gonna score a touchdown, but I just don't think they're gonna have to rely on Kamara and once obviously they're going against. I don't care what anybody says. They're going against an elite coach in Sean Payton. Obviously, doesn't look elite nowadays, but still respectable coach in Sean Payton. He's gonna
Or you're going
just
to get booed out the building.
you stop Elvin, you basically win the game. And I say Javon Williams has a bigger game in the running department because the Saints in recent weeks hasn't been shown to stop the run. I think Cortland Sutton steps up, but obviously we're gonna need Troy Franklin or maybe like Mims, someone like Mims to step up as well. Haven't seen him since really last year. I don't really look at the tight end of any significance in this game, but I honestly look at the quarterback. As much as I said, it's been scarce out here on these streets for Bo Nix. I think this is a game that he can eat. He can eat, man. I honestly think this is a game that he can eat. He's 5 for 5, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. But this is the kind of game where obviously he doesn't. I don't see him lighting the Saints
Throwing
offense
out
up.
2
But I
picks.
see him doing enough to win the game. Maybe 2 touchdowns, maybe 230 yards in the victory. But count on the one game to be in effect on both sides tonight because there's a lot of receivers trying to make their names and it's a primetime game basically. Only game on TV. So for football's sake, that is. But yeah, that being said, let's move on to the next game. And I do have a question for you guys before we get into this, and you guys can answer and then get into your points. But okay, is it over for the prince that was promised? And what I mean by that is like, this guy wins a national championship as a rookie, looking great at Clemson. Everybody hyped him up. And obviously, it didn't really work out. I don't really count his first season because he had a shitty head coach in Urban Meyer. And this guy he's proven to do more than Daniel Jones in his 4 years in the NFL. So I can't take that away from him. But what I can say is before that win against the Colts, this guy was on like
Why
a
is that?
9 or
Why
a
is
10.
Daniel Jones the bar?
He was on a 9 or 10 losing streak, and then he gets the win against the Colts, and then they fly overseas, and he gets absolutely demolished again. If I know he can't play defense, but is it over for the Prince who was promised? Go right ahead. Let's get Mac. Let's get Mac first. Go right ahead, Mac.
I mean, look, Trevor Lawrence. Do I think he's possibly the most overrated starting quarterback in the league? Yeah, I think he could be in the running for that. However, I mean, look, let's just talk about the game. I can't do it. I can't. Trevor Lawrence. he's still got some work to do. He's got some work to do, but I'll just leave it at that for right now. As far as this game goes, they've been chilling in London for a week now. Jacksonville, got that ass whooped last week. Bears went over there and like my co-host Adam likes to say, clap them cheeks. You know what I mean? So
Whoa,
they've had a
whoa.
week. They've they've had a week over there in London. You know what I mean? To let it marinate a little bit, let that sink in. But they've been sitting over there chilling. The Patriots just got over there. Jacksonville's well acclimated now, and they should be able to take care of the Patriots. I think in this one, no excuse for Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson. I think if Jacksonville drops this one to the Patriots in this London game here, which is pretty much home away from home for the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think we're gonna start seeing some more dominoes starting to fall, man. When they go back across that pond, so
Well,
I think Jacksonville does win this one.
look, I think Jacksonville wins, but to answer your question, listen to these numbers: 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. I mean, 3 interceptions. Right? That's his regular season numbers right now. So typically, he's not having a bad season in all comparison, right? But his team is playing bad. So 3 interceptions is not a lot of turnovers. It's unfortunate you can't win some games, and he's the one that's being blamed. But if you look at it, like everyone makes it seem like Trevor Lawrence is. I mean, they're not getting explosive plays. They're not, having a very good offense. But if it all said and done, his numbers, if you go to ESPN, they give you those projections, right? If you look at him right now, let's just be real. I think he's the guy that he was in college? Hell no. I think he got way overhyped in college, right? So, I mean, like, he's having an average season. So he's playing average football, and we'll see what happens. This is what happens when you pay guys money, right? Now you're kind of stuck with him. So, but I think they'll beat the Patriots. If they can't beat the Patriots, who, I expect them to lose. Drake May, you have a rookie quarterback. You better beat Drake May, because if you don't beat Drake May, you got some trouble. And it's not like it's going to save Doug Peterson's job or anything like that. But you just want to get off the mat a little bit, separate yourself from the completely fucked.
Well said. Well said. I'm gonna go out on the limb, and I'm gonna take the Patriots in this one. And this is the reason why I'm gonna take the Patriots. And we have to go back, and we're gonna start keeping track, because I'm gonna win this one this week. And I'll get the scores for last week as well. But here's the reason why: the Patriots have played nothing but a tough competition since week 1. I get it. The Bengals is not the Bengals that we all know. The defense absolutely sucks. But the Bengals in week 1 was trying to win that game, and we all know what happened. They didn't. Okay. Then they went and they played the Seahawks. Then they played the Jets. Then they played the 49ers. Okay, obviously we don't really count the Dolphins, because the Dolphins are trash without Tua. But we got the Texans. They absolutely get demolished against the Texans. But I was gonna say Caleb Williams. Drake May throws for 3 touchdowns in his first collegiate start. Something that Daniel Jones hasn't done, I think, since COVID. So that being said, I see the Jacksonville as the straight up, like, not coming out party for Drake May, but a game he could handle. A game that both teams really like. Yes, Jacksonville is a team. If you look at the roster on defense and you look at it on paper, you're like, damn, this shit's good. But it doesn't translate to the field. And when you look at the offense, you're like, damn, it's good, but it doesn't really translate to the field. And then they can't capitalize. They can't win games. They don't know how to finish. And yes, Adam's absolutely right. His numbers are great, but when key situations, when it really matters, it doesn't show up. That being said, though, I do think the Patriots come out strong this weekend and get the win overseas. Yeah. That being said, let's move on.
Two shitty teams in the morning while you eat breakfast.
I'm not getting up for the purpose of watching that game. By the way, I'll get up early enough and it's on. Sure. I'm not getting up for the purpose of watching it. No.
Look at my timestamp, guys. This game starts at 6:30 where I'm from. Like, I only wake up to watch the 10 o'clock slate, not the 6:30 a.m. slate.
Oh man, my God, you're not going to wake up to see 1-5 versus 1-5? Come on.
1-5 versus 1-5. I think I'm gonna pass on this one. Alrighty, guys. Um, Yeah, we got the Seahawks going against the Atlanta Falcons. I'm really high on the Atlanta Falcons this year. Been high on them the whole time. I honestly think they're ready to win the championship now. All they needed was a quarterback. Do they get it done this week? I don't know. Will it surprise me if the Atlanta Falcons are in the Super Bowl? Absolutely not. I've been saying it since the start of the season. But that being said, we got them a tough out against the Seattle Seahawks. Don't let the Seattle Seahawks fool you. They're playing tough. They're gonna play you tough. And if you overlook the Seahawks, they're gonna kill you. That being said, I am going to take the Atlanta Falcons at home. I think the ATL is going to be turning up in this one, and let's get it. Who do you guys got in this one? Go right ahead, Adam. We're going to start with you first, and then pass it over to Mac. I'm going to take the Falcons.
I'm going with the Falcons as well. I like what they're doing. No disrespect to the Seahawks. They're in a bit of a skid right now, and I think, they got a long time off, right, from that 49er game. I think they'll come out swinging. But this is a game that if the Falcons want to kind of be where the Buccaneers are, flirting with being a team that could represent, you got to win this game. These are the teams that you got to beat in order for us to make you to believe that you're those guys, right? As they say in the business, that you're him, right? So beat Seattle, and we can start talking about the Falcons as legit, possibly conference winners, right? Because right now that there's two top teams. There's three teams, right? There's the Vikings, there's probably the Lions, and right now you can say the Buccaneers. Not many people are talking about them, but I'm going to talk about them because I think they're a team that to be reckoned with, especially in the South. So if the Falcons want to keep pace with them, you got to win. You got to win a game like this.
I love it. Go ahead, Mac.
Yeah. 3 for 3, fellas. I'm going with y'all too with the Falcons, man. This team, man. Everybody, after the week 1 game against Pittsburgh, everybody kind of, got a little skittish, jumped off the bandwagon a little bit. And the Falcons, they didn't brought them back in, man. I mean, this team is loaded, man, off on the offensive side of the football. And they're not too bad on the defensive side of the ball either, man. They got some playmakers on that side of the ball as well. But mostly this offense, man. Let's talk about you got Drake London out there. I mean, Kyle Pitts is starting to, emerge and really starting to, flourish a lot more with Kirk Cousins back there at the quarterback spot. And then they're hitting you with both of these running backs, Bijan Robinson as well as Algiers, man. They're hitting you with both of these guys. So they're giving you everything they got. I mean, they got the kid who's the kid that came from the Bears. What the fuck's his name? I
Moody.
forgot his name. The kid
Darnell Mooney, yes.
Darnell Mooney.
Yeah.
Got this kid out there making plays, man. I mean, they're starting to really come alive.
You got a little youngster in Ray.
It's gonna be fun watching them in the Buccaneers battle it out down there in the NFC South, man. That's gonna be some fun football to watch, man. So, yeah, I got the Falcons here. I just think they got too many playmakers. I think, and they're feeling themselves right now.
Lovely. And yes, I do believe that the Buccaneers do play the Ravens this week, and then they do see the Falcons after that. So that's going to be a fun matchup that when they do meet. That being said, though, we do have Tennessee versus Buffalo Bills with the new ribbon. I don't know, man. I don't know what to feel about Tennessee. I mean, I think they do play better than their record, but they are 1-1, so that actually stands for something. And I think they're not ready to win games yet. I think they're learning. I do think I wouldn't press the panic button. I do like their head coach, in Callahan, but I just think they're not ready. They don't have an identity right now. I think that's the best way to put it. And I think when you have a team like the Buffalo Bills that's out here competing every single week, and when you have an alien in Josh Allen that just makes it happen, it's hard to pick against them, especially at home in the freezing cold this time of the year. So that being said, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. Who do you guys got in this one?
Yeah, I got Buffalo here. I mean, look, what are we even talking about here? Tennessee Titans. they just find ways to lose the football game. I mean, each and every week. So I got Buffalo.
Love it.
What are we even talking about here? Yeah, I don't put mayonnaise in my coffee, so I'm going with the Buffalo Bills as well because I think they getting Cooper is trying to cement them as one of the best teams in the AFC, and I think you're going to start to see that. This is a game that You're going into hostile territory as 1-4 team. If Buffalo does not win this game, I'd be concerned. So I'm picking Buffalo Bills in a rout.
I love it. We got a little in division opponents here. We got the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Cleveland Browns, and I'm gonna ride with Cincinnati. I think the Giants absolutely woke them up. I think they motivated them, and I think Cincinnati's gonna turn into the team we know them to be. I think the defense is gonna start to step up as the year goes on, and I think the offense is already there. So watch Cincinnati do what Cincinnati always does: start the season off slow and then go on a rave. Cincinnati's gonna ride a wave to victory at a Huntington Bank Field. That being said, give me Cincinnati all day, every day. Who do you guys got in this one? Let's go with you, Adam, since Max started off the last one.
Well, my second team didn't let me down on Sunday night because their quarterback came through when it mattered most, right? And this week, I do believe the Bengals heard it all week, and they took it out on the Giants. They said, we're not going to be this team anymore. It stops today. And I told this to people last week. If the Bengals won the game against the Giants, they're going to feel themselves and try to win the next 2 out of 3 games, right? They have the Raiders on the schedule, a team of influx. They have the Cleveland Browns, a team that just got their star weapon out of there. Who are they going to? Jerry Jeudy? I mean, come on, give me a break. Like Deshaun Watson, he's going to be in a body bag after this game. Cincinnati wins. They get the 3-4, and then you just start to move and shake. Now you're like, all right, now we're back in the race. We may not be able to, win all of them, but think about it: 10-7. If they go 3-4,
you need is a ticket in the playoffs, and anything could happen.
Right? So and they got Joe Burrow. I think they're gonna take their anger out on the Cleveland Browns.
And before you go, Mac, a lot of people got to realize too that was only Higgins' second week back. So Higgins is now getting back into the mix. Obviously, chases him. And there's their defense, man. Like Adam said, their defense is starting to waking up. They're starting to wake up. They do this every fucking year, right? Every year. They start off slow. Everybody rights their ship. And then all of a sudden, there's the Bengals competing at the end of the season when it really fucking counts. And all you need is a ticket into the playoffs, ticket into the tournament to get it done. Don't be
Imagine
if
they end up in like the championship game or something. That'd be crazy.
No, and honestly, I agree. Like Cincinnati coming into the season was my second ranked team in the AFC after the Chiefs, right? I had the Chiefs, I had Cincinnati. Believe it or not, I had high hopes for Aaron Rodgers. I did have the Jets before the Ravens and then Buffalo. I honestly thought Buffalo took a step back, but obviously when you have an alien, you don't take a step back. That being said, though, I'm going to turn the mic over to Mac. I don't want to take up too much time. Cincinnati the Browns.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I don't think it's that much of a slam dunk. I mean, I don't think it is. I mean, Cincinnati. I mean, they didn't come in there and just completely just dominate the Giants on Sunday night. They just beat the Giants because the Giants pretty much, do what they do. So I'm still not like exactly overly impressed with this Cincinnati Bengals team. I mean, neither one of these football teams have lived up to the hype that they both had coming into this season. With that being said, I'm taking the Bengals. The Cleveland Browns are an absolute mess. I can't fix my mouth to pick them to win a football game at this point. So
all that
that's the only reason.
Criticize my old
This guy's like a subplot. He's doing a whole subplot.
The Bengals are nothing. Disregarding the 38 points they scored against the Ravens. They could be the Giants, the 17-point losers. And those Brown team, but I can't fix my jaw to pick the Browns. It's like
that's awesome. Who knows? Maybe the dog pound shows up, and who knows what could happen in that home.
Yeah, the dog pound. It's more like the cat pound.
Man, this is gonna be such a good game. This is like one of the best games of the week in my mind. I already apologized, but I'm gonna really apologize again, man. I talked so much shit about Jordan Love a couple years back, but man, the kid has proven to be a mainstay in the NFL, and I don't know what they got in Green Bay with the system, but they do know how to breed quarterbacks. That being said, though, we have the Houston Texans versus the Green Bay Packers. Who do you got and why, Mac?
I got C.J. Stroud in the Houston Texans, man. This guy, man, he's all about the big moments, man. I feel like, I mean, and he's ready for the moments. I think the AFC is going to have to worry about the Houston Texans, man. When they get to January, I do love what Jordan Love's over there doing in Green Bay, man. He's slicing them and dicing them, man, serving it up and spreading the ball around brilliantly to his receiving core, man. I mean, I do really, I love what he's doing. You're right. He's definitely one of the great young quarterbacks in this league right now. But C.J. Stroud just got that something. It's something special about that kid, man. Something special about C.J. Stroud, man. And I think he just figures it out, man. And I think they go up to Lambeau and get a big win in this one.
I love it. Go right ahead, Adam.
Wow. Good stuff. So CJ Stroud, he's all hype and hoopla, and he's gonna go in there, and he's the first time at Lambeau Field, gonna play there, gonna take his legend. I think I gotta go with the Green Bay Packers, because they're in their building, they're gonna show out and show them why they're gonna be one of the top teams in the NFC. I love what Jordan Love is doing. I absolutely love what CJ Stroud's doing, but I like what Jordan Love has done. The Green Bay Packers have done it again. They went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. Like three quarterbacks in a 20-year span, right? I mean, good God, you go from two Hall of Famers and a guy who's on his way to having a solid start to his NFL career, his NFL career. So I think Green Bay gets it done in this game. I'm calling it. I'm going that way. Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I absolutely love what the Texans has been doing lately. They're 5-1 for a reason. Mac is absolutely right. CJ Stroud is definitely him. But I'm gonna have to take. I'm gonna go to Adam, man. I didn't even know it was his first time at Lambeau. I was just gonna pick him because they was playing at Lambeau. But yeah, I think there's certain teams like kind of like the Saints when they play at home, and kind of like the Packers, kind of like the Seahawks when they play at home. There's something about just that home field advantage, and I think Green Bay is another one of those places. Fan owned team, absolutely love that. I'm gonna take the Packers, man. I think it's gonna be a close game. Might get down to a late field goal, and that field goal is gonna be made by the Packers. Give me the Packers. That being said, we got Miami versus this is an ugly game. Miami versus the Colts, man. Might be an ugly game, but might be like the highest scoring game of the week. Both teams don't know how to stop anything on offense. I mean, on defense. But that being said, though, Miami is in disarray. Hopefully they can figure it out. They did good, better than they started after they lost Tua. But who knew that losing Tua would expose this team, and that is absolutely pathetic. I basically put Mike on my list of young elite coaches in the NFL, and this debacle is absolutely crazy. You have like for the fastest players in all of the NFL. Like, make it happen, man. You can't. You got hired for your great, amazing scheme in the running game, and it hasn't seemed to worked out very much this season. And you can't even utilize your playmakers when your quarterback goes down. I thought he could scheme some better things up, but apparently not. And I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I'm hoping that Miami can get back to Miami, but I really don't think they are going to get back to Miami. It's funny how you go from the most potent offense to in the league where to you can't even move the ball on offense. But yeah, I'm gonna pick the Colts at home, man. I just don't feel like Miami is any competition right now. Go right ahead, Mac.
Yeah, I'm taking the Colts just because you're right. The Dolphins are a fucking mess. I don't know. I mean, they're a mess. I mean, this quarterback situation is terrible. So I like the Colts.
Well said. Go ahead, Adam.
Party in the city where the heat is on all night to the beach to the break of dawn. I'm not going with Miami. I'm going with the Colts. So I think the Colts are going to be a solid football team. I think they're going to wipe the floor with Miami. And this game, I think, at the end of this, Tua is going to be the one that comes out and wins when all said and done because the Dolphins look like dog crap without him, right? So if he comes back in, he's got leverage. I don't know if he ever plays. That'll be something that they'll discuss. But if he decides to come back, you see what happens when you lose your quarterback. I mean, I know people talk about how bad Tua is or overrated he is. You could see what happens when your franchise guy goes down, there's such a significant drop off that they don't even look like they take a brilliant mind like Mike McDaniels and make him look like nothing.
But remember, Adam, it's wide receivers that make the team.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
Right?
what's Tyreek Hill?
Like where's Tyreek Hill at?
What's
Where's
Tyreek Hill
Will
doing?
you be at Hill? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Where's
It's
Tyreek
like,
Hill at? I mean, you know, I don't mean to rub
I
that
don't
in
mean to do
people.
that too. I don't mean to be, yeah.
I don't mean to rub people's nose in it, but think about that. Think about that. All those people who talk about weapons, they have Waddle, they have Tyreek Hill, they can't do a damn thing. A damn thing.
Well said, well said, well said. As far as any notable NFL trades, I don't have any that comes into my mind. Now, I will say this: we can talk about Matthew Stafford when we get to the Giants. I do have something to say, and we'll probably lead it off there. But that's the only one that comes in mind for me now. But we have one more game to get to, and it's a pretty important game before we talk about that one. It's the Minnesota Vikings at home taking on the Detroit Lions team that everybody. This is like the fuck the other game I was talking about. This is the game of the week.
Why is this 1 o'clock? Why is this not flexed
because
out?
they didn't know the Vikings was gonna be this good. They thought the Vikings was gonna suck and Detroit was gonna roll through them. Little did anybody know Sam Darnold was gonna have the second coming.
Most of us thought the Vikings were gonna suck. So yeah.
So I'm gonna let Adam start with this one because I know I went to Mac first, the last one. Who you got, man? Detroit actually up there, Minnesota just looking unbelievable.
It's tough, man. I'm going to go with Detroit here. And the reason why, and no disrespect to you, Vikings, you know, you're doing a phenomenal job. Sam Darnold, who I told people was going to have a solid season, is, you know, is doing well. And they're going to be in the, you know, their new home and everything like that. But I think Detroit's on a mission. And that mission is to bludgeon and punish anybody that gets in their way. And what they did to the Dallas Cowboys was straight filthy. Like they just clapped them cheeks, okay? They just that was it. That was it for the Cowboys. Like they got that, they asses red from that beatdown, okay? But I just think Detroit's experience over the Vikings' new experience. See, the Vikings haven't been to many playoff games with this crew right here, and this is the game that we're going to find out if Sam Darnold is really the guy. But I think Detroit's on a mission, and they need this game for the division. If the Detroit Lions want to get to where they want to be, and that's to hold the Lombardi this season, they've got to beat teams in their division, and it's got to go against the Vikings.
Well said, well said. Go ahead, Matt.
And I like the Minnesota Vikings here at home, coming off the bye week at home, taking on the Detroit Lions, coming off the big victory against the Cowboys. I think, I mean, this is just one of those surprise storylines of the NFL this season, man. It's going to be able to watch these two guys. This division, as a matter of fact, the NFC North division, the best division in football, folks. Go look it up. Go look at those records in that goddamn division right there, top to bottom in that division. The NFC North, man. This is a heavyweight title fight right here, man. And I like the Minnesota Vikings. I believe in what I'm seeing out there from Sam Darnold, man. He's found that sweet spot. He's found that where he needs to be. And I mean, Detroit's gonna be coming in with a lot of emotion. You know, they with the loss of Aiden Hutchinson. That's obviously some big shoes to fill over on that side of the ball for him. But I mean. Minnesota, I just believe in what they're doing, and I think coming off the bye week, they're ready for Detroit, man. They've had a couple of weeks to prepare for this game, and I think they're gonna come out firing, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Mac, man. I do think the Lions are gonna be there at the end of the year, but I just think the magic continues for Minnesota. Everybody, you look at this game, and it's just so easy to be like, yeah, but Minnesota. Not saying you, Adam. I'm just saying the media. It's so easy to say like, yeah, the Detroit Lions are tested, and they're gonna come into Minnesota and say, show them who their big brother is. I've been hearing some takes like that, and it's like, hello there, aren't you guys not watching who the Vikings are playing? And like the Vikings, I think the magic continues. Now, I don't think they go undefeated. I think they lose eventually. But let's keep players out, like Mets mentioned. Max said his name, and you have a Lions team that should should beat them, and that's where the pressure comes in. You have a Minnesota Vikings team that I think is going to play loose at home, and the Lions are going to go down to a early. Minnesota is going to take the lead early, and I don't think they're ever going to give it back. And I don't say the pressure is going to be too much for the Lions. It's going to be a close scoring game, but I do have the Minnesota Vikings winning. Alrighty, guys, let's get to the fun game to talk about now. New York Football Giants versus the Philadelphia Eagles, and I just want to start this by I know Mets, you didn't meant to, you're not talking about this rumor, but I just want to bring it up too because I heard of the rumor. I honestly think that Matthew Stafford is the best quarterback in the NFC until someone maybe says a name that maybe I could think about. I think there's young up and comers.
Daniel Jones.
I think there's young up and comers in the NFC, and I do think that they definitely should be considered to be on that list. We just mentioned Jordan Love. We do see young Caleb doing this thing, and there is some other quarterbacks like Dak Prescott, like the quarterback we're playing this week in Jalen Hurts. But I do think when you look at Matthew Stafford and his career, that guy is literally even if you looked at his game where he's literally like his top 100 list, right? And you watch him throw the football with his no luck passes, and everybody who ever played with him, basically says, yeah, this guy is it, and they're not faking it like they do with Daniel Jones. They actually mean it. They actually truly mean it. I honestly think that a trade like that would be good for the franchise. I don't think we can afford it, but I think it would be good because I think we still would draft the quarterback, but back in the day, young quarterbacks sat and they learned from veterans. They took the Green Bay approach. And I think sometimes when you can't get your quarterback that you want, it's good to have a bridge quarterback there. We did it with Eli Manning when we had Kurt Warner. You know what I'm saying? I think it would be good for Matthew Stafford to come here and help us out for a bit while we figure out our young rookie. Will it happen? Probably not. Will I want it to happen? I don't know how I truly feel about that. All I can say is I truly respect Matthew Stafford, and if it happens, I'm not mad. But if it was up to me, I'm looking at Cam Ward, I'm looking at Monroe, I'm looking at Quinn Ewers, I'm looking at to trade the future to move up to the spot to get him, because what fucking future do we have? Look at our last 10 draft number 1 picks and how much of them are on the team. Even Barkley is playing us this week. He's not even on the fucking team. And we're like, yeah, he's going to be a Hall of Famer for the Giants. What the fuck happened? He went back to his hometown. That being said, trade the future, because at this point we have no future. So you go up there and you get the quarterback that you want. As far as this game goes, I think our defense is gonna be the outcome of the game. Does our defense hold the Eagles team that is banged up to less than 20 points? And the answer is, I'm sorry to say, as good as our defense been playing, it's the Eagles, guys. It's a division opponent, and the Eagles eat the Giants for lunch. And I honestly think it's going to be the same thing. We're looking at these Eagles team that's 3-2, and we're like, yeah, they're not as good as they once was, but it's still, we haven't earned anything against the Eagles. It's almost like when you have like a big sibling that beats you up, like play fight, no abuse here, but like beats you up, and then you try to get a move on him, but he can't, because he's always older. He's always out. He's going to outmaneuver you, out faster you. But one time you do land a nice hook and you do catch him and you feel kind of confident about yourself. I kind of think that's the Giants situation. It's like, we're going to come in with a little bit of hope. And yes, Malik Neighbors is back. But at the end of the day, we have another player in Barkley that's looking to get some revenge. And I honestly don't see how we beat the Eagles. I don't really see a key to victory here, like they say in the MMA. I don't see a key to success. So since I can't see a key to success, I'm going to have to take the Philadelphia Eagles. And that sucks because I want to root for the Giants. And I am going to be rooting for the Giants. But I have the Eagles winning. Go right ahead, Adam, and then pass it over to Mac.
I guess I'll pick the Giants, but reluctantly, because there's a lot that's going on. They're losing their left tackle. Their quarterback is not playing that well. Meanwhile, the Eagles offense has come in and, they played a decent football game, clean football game last week. And I think they have the weapons that kind of hurt the Giants, and they do the hurry up as well and spread you out. And it's a matchup that the Giants don't play well at. And I know it's going to be juiced up for Barkley. So I don't want people to think, oh, well, they're the Giants. both this game is going to be it's going to be a slugfest. I will say that. And the team that limits the mistakes and scores touchdowns when they have instead of field goals. Because the thing is this: strategically, the Eagles have an advantage, and the reason why is their kicker is so good, Jake Elliott. So they never have to really play to get to the end zone. They can play to get to the 35 of the Giants, right? And they can kick long field goals all game long. So, and I'm not saying that's the strategy you want. I'm just saying for the Giants, you're going to have to score touchdowns and not field goals because your kicker, who is not great outdoors, and I keep telling people this because he was a good kicker indoors when he played with the Vikings. He kicked very well indoors. He doesn't kick well outdoors. So Giants have a lot to overcome. Let's see if they can do it. I'm the Giants do things fluky. I think they could steal one here. If they don't steal this game, good night the lights.
Well said, well said. Go right ahead,
Yes.
Matt.
Well, first off, I mean, we're in the seventh inning stretch right now, out in Cleveland. Cleveland Browns. I mean, Cleveland Indians. Cleveland Guardians tacked on another run. So it's 3-1.
Oh, they did change their name. I
3-1.
just caught on to that joke. Oh, okay. Sorry, I know you guys was
3-1.
laughing about it earlier, but I'll let
Right now, Cleveland here in Game 3. But yeah, I see. I was all ready to go for the Giants, in this game, but I just think because I think the Eagles' defense, because we know they can do offensively. We know that team can flat out do on the offensive side of the football. They can still put some points on the board. But I just think that the Giants normally, I think what I was seeing from this Eagles defense would have been able to move the football against this Eagles defense pretty effectively. But I'm just thinking with the loss of Andrew Thomas out there, that could just create skittish Daniel Jones, and
I'm
skittish
worried about
Daniel
Dexter
Jones
Lawrence too.
is
But
not a good thing. And we don't really know the stats. Dexter Lawrence, who hasn't practiced this week. I mean, yeah, it's good to get Malik Neighbors back. It's great to get him back in the lineup, but at the end of the day, I just think the loss of Andrew Thomas is going to be the biggest thing to affect this football game because the left tackle position is now a complete unknown. The offensive line has been playing so well. They've been all five together through every game this season thus far, and now this just breaks up the continuity that was building with this offensive line, and on top of breaking up the continuity, it's the best of the five
okay, Matt,
that's gone. So
no Mets. I get that,
I
but
just
they didn't practice.
I
So.
just think so. I just think that you know I just think that I got to go with the Eagles here. I think just because I think the loss of Andrew Thomas is going to have Daniel Jones, second guessing, maybe rushing some things, scared to take that big blindside hit. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
don't think they'll
what's funny? You know what's funny, Mac? It's almost like Daniel Jones been having like good numbers and decent shit, right? But his arm is completely his deep ball is completely washed. And then I was like, yeah, how can it get worse? And then you see a skittish Daniel Jones, and I'm like, oh yes, I forgot about skittish Daniel Jones because his offensive line been absolutely great this year, and he's been not winning games. But now we might get skittish Daniel Jones.
Just
You're absolutely right
one
on
thing
that.
I want to say about like the DNPs, right? Like, do I really want Dexter Lawrence running out there and costing himself more time if he can sit out one game because we want to force him out there? Like, he didn't practice all week, and then it's going to be a game time decision. And let's say this physical offensive line comes and now starts bearing down on him, and then we come back out and they're like, well, he's going to be week to week now because he's sore. If we had rested him the week, he would have been fine, but we decided to put him out there. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. That's what they do with Andrew Thomas. Guy's out for the year now.
Yeah, that's some sad shit, man. We got another horrible team in the Los Angeles Raiders and one for Los Angeles Rams. Obviously, I don't know, man. As much as I want to diss the Rams, I don't know, man. I think Sean McVay is awesome. I just think the play has not been there. And that being said, I think they do get the victory against the Raiders. I think it's clusterfuck right now at the Raiders. They just traded away the number one receiver, and a number one receiver that even though if he's obviously he wasn't playing the past couple of weeks, but he does demand attention. And Brock Bowers is definitely him, but I don't see the Raiders beating the Rams at home at SoFi. Maybe if there's that Allegiant, it really is it should be a pick 'em. I don't know why the Raiders are getting plus 6.5, but I'm gonna just take the Rams straight up. Oh, go ahead, Mac.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, honestly, this is the
The Rams
game.
been looking
I could
terrible
see
all
the
sorts
Raiders.
ago.
I could see the Raiders fluking a win here. I mean, I really could. I mean, the Rams did. They just things just haven't been going their way. But with that being said, I think I don't know.
Hard to, man.
Well, you know what? Coming off the bye week at home against the Raiders, you got to find a way to win and try to revitalize your season. Your division is not exactly, the 49ers aren't just running away with things like people may have thought could have happened over there. So you still actually got a little bit of an opportunity if you can wake up and string together a couple wins. So I go with the Rams coming off the bye.
I like that you said that because I mean, like, we all thought that like San Francisco is going to be San Francisco, but they're not. Plus, they're playing the Chiefs this week, and then you have a Cardinals team that's absolutely can't win a game and just save their lives. We have a Seattle team going against Atlanta that's 3-3. So if everybody, and I think Carolina is Cardinals are on a bye. If I'm not, no, Cardinals play the Chargers, but they're 2-4 as well. So if all three division opponents lose, the Los Angeles are back in the mix at 2-4. They're back in the mix. And Sean McVay needs to take advantage of that. Go right ahead, Adam.
I think they're going to beat the Raiders. They have a better quarterback, Aiden O'Connell. While he's okay, he's no Matthew Stafford. And like you said, because of the mediocrity around the entire NFL, not only can they get back in the race, but there's an opportunity for them with their schedule coming up, possibly to get back into the wild card race, right? And that's really what you're doing. The last spot or two right now is hanging in the balance with some of these teams, and a lot of these teams this week will be making a play for that. So I'm going to go with the Rams. Excuse me.
Well said, well said. And then Matthew Stafford is out this week, correct?
Yes,
No, no. Yes. And then which quarterback is starting for the Raiders? I think O'Connor. I think that's his job. I
Yeah,
think they
Aiden
really meant
O'Connell's
to.
the starting quarterback
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they benched Minshew for the time being. Alrighty, we got wow, what the fuck is this? We have Carolina Panthers is absolutely gonna get demolished in my mind. They're gonna go play in Washington. Okay, good luck. Enough said. Give me the Commanders. I don't mean to like overlook the Panthers, but I'm gonna overlook the
there.
Panthers. I do want to say shout out to DeAndre Johnson though and Schubert Hubbard. Like talk about a running back that is elite that just stuck on a shitty team. That's Schubert Hubbard, if you ask me. He is him. And he doesn't get that much media attention because he plays for the Carolina Panthers. And Deontay Johnson, man, shout out to him too. We got to give the redhead a shout out to Andy Dalton. But the defense is not going to stop anybody on the Commanders. So give me the Commanders, man. Look. I can see the Commanders dropping 40 on these guys. But who knows? Go right ahead, Adam.
I
I
said that
got
yesterday.
Commanders. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Nice.
I think the Commanders. But this is a game they need to win, in my eyes, to establish that they're a solid team. If you're a good team, you beat bad teams. That's what you do, regardless of who's on that team. So go get your wins, Commanders.
I love it.
Absolutely. I mean, this is what you want to. This is actually a great test for a young quarterback into a game like this. I mean, obviously, we know the Commanders are a far superior team than the Carolina Panthers thus far at this point in the season. And I know you got to go out there and make a statement. Like I said, I said the same thing on the show yesterday, Zion. I think the Commanders
I
dial
love
up
it.
40 on the Carolina Panthers. Win big here, man. I mean, you go out there and you like what you said, Adam. You go out there. The good teams beat the bad teams. Well, I think in this situation, the good team, a good team, what you think is the Washington Commanders, needs to beat the living shit out of the Carolina Panthers because they are a very bad team. So just go out there and take care of business at home. And I like the Washington Commanders here.
Yeah, it should be illegal to have a badass logo but be that fucking bad. Um, that being said, we do have the Chiefs versus the 49ers. I mean, like, I don't know what's going on with the 49ers. They were in disarray. And we got the Chiefs. Like, come on, bros. Like, you guys are supposed to show up at the end of the year. Why are you guys showing up every single week, man? I mean, like, the Chiefs are just looking good. And they're getting the stuff together and without players and still finding a way to win these games. And it's so hard to pick against them even though they're going to go fly to Levi's, it's just really hard to pick against the Chiefs and pick against Andy Reid right now because they do find a way to win games. And I said Andy Reid, I meant to say Patrick Mahomes, but Andy Reid in his way, the best coach in the NFL right now, and man, they had just the combo that they have at the Chiefs. Like we gonna let the Chiefs get comfortable, and Travis Kelce doesn't even need to produce until week 5, and they're still rolling. It's just amazing, man. It's amazing what the Chiefs are able to do, and that is definitely the definition of a dynasty. And that we had the Patriots for the last 20 damn years, and now is the Chiefs' kingdom. We're living in the Chiefs' world, man. We're all living in Andy Reid's and Patrick Mahomes' world. And shout out to their defense, man. The defense definitely stronger than I thought there was going to be this year. Man, I don't know how you pick against the defense, the Chiefs. I can see 49ers a revenge trip, but I don't know, man. I wouldn't surprise me if the 49ers win, but now I'm just blabbing it on. I'm going to pick the Chiefs. Go right ahead, Mac.
Yeah, it's tough to go against Patrick Mahomes and them Chiefs, man. Patrick Mahomes usually always finds a way, but I think the 49ers here, man. I like them here. I think Nick Bosa and company get after Patrick Mahomes, man. I think they're gonna force him. Some of those mistakes we've been seeing a little bit more of this season from Mahomes, and I think that the 49ers are gonna find a little bit of groove on offense in this one, man. I think. I can see Brock Purdy, getting into a little duel with Patrick Mahomes and coming out on top in this one. I think we get a whole lot of Debo Samuel in this one, and George Kittle, man, making plays for the 49ers offensively. I think the 49ers get a big one here against the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday.
I love that.
Oh, man. Knack almost got me to step over that 49er line, but I'm not going to stick with the Chiefs.
You made it convincing, dude. I was about to change my pick.
It's like, oh, Brock Purdy. Like, wow, really a quarterback? No, I'm going to stick with Patrick Mahomes.
I love it. Is that your take, Adam?
Yes, the Chiefs.
Okay. Perfect. All right. We got the Jets versus what I believe truly to be one of the best defenses in the league, man. They're backing it up every week. Obviously got some losses on their record, but I say they back it up again this week, man. I get it. You have Adams, but at the end of the day, the way you guys been playing football, you guys can't be a team that's come on. You guys are at the Steelers' home. Like, stop it. Let's just not even talk about it. Who knows, man? Aaron Rodgers may come out and break people, blow people's minds, but I don't see it happening. I have the Steelers in this one. It's hard to pick against them at home. Go right ahead, Adam.
Wow, the Steelers have back-to-back New York teams in 2 weeks. One's reeling, the other one's happy that they got a receiver. I'm going to go out on a limb here and be ridiculous and say, I'm going to say the Jets. Take care of business here in Pittsburgh. They got a new weapon. They're going to feature him. And I think they'll get after Russell Wilson a little bit. He'll have to knock the rust off. And I'm just going to say the New York Jets, just to be different. I love the Steelers and what they're doing. J.J. Watt, they have like 3 of the best run defenders in the entire league on defense. That's right, the entire league. 3 of them are on the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it's going to be a tough out for the Jets. But I'm picking them anyway, just, I don't know, for fun.
I love that. Go ahead, Mac.
Yeah, I think the Steelers win this one 9-7. Yeah, the Steelers win this game
Nice.
9-7.
Close.
Man, I think. We're all serious. I think it's going to be a pretty low scoring affair. I don't think we're going to see too many offensive fireworks in this one. I think you got 2 good defenses that are just going to make it really tough on the opposing offenses. And I think, like you said, Adam, I think you're going to get a little bit of rusty Russell Wilson, man. But I think ultimately he'll still be able to do just enough to get the Steelers a W here.
Yeah, and I will say this: as much as I respect you, Mike Tomlinson, is Justin Fields hurt, or are they just yanking him?
They're going with the better
They're
option.
yanking him because he's been
I don't know.
ineffective.
He has been
been
ineffective,
very
but
effective.
he truly only has
He's
Pickens
barely
to
throwing
throw
for
the ball
100
to.
yards. He's barely throwing for 100 yards a game.
Yeah,
Like, come on.
They need
you're
better
right on
because
that. You're right on that. They can do
in
better
order
than
for them to
that.
get
Yeah.
where they want to go,
You know
they need
what?
better.
You know why? It's like I just think of like how dynamic he is with his legs, and it kind of skews my mind, like Daniel
Exactly.
Jones type fans. You know what I'm saying? Um.
He still
Oh,
hasn't.
what?
Still hasn't been a very bad fantasy option this year because of what he does with his legs. But
That's
he
absolutely
can't.
facts.
Is this the 8 o'clock game?
This is gonna be the prime time game. Absolutely. Um. Ravens
Wow,
versus the Buccaneers. This is such a
got it right
big,
this
big
time.
game. Go right ahead, Mac, and then pass it over to Adam. I'm gonna get some water. It's a good game.
Wow. Wow. Where do I begin with this one? I mean, Tampa Bay. I think the
Fantastic game.
Buccaneers riding them emotions, man, riding them waves, man. Baker Mayfield's been playing out of his mind, man. And he's been finding that connection. Godwin has also been playing out. Chris Godwin has emerged this season once again. Like he's been the top guy. I mean, Mike Evans, you know what Mike Evans brings to the table, but Chris Godwin this season he's been that top guy for the Buccaneers in the receiving room
Sterling
this
Shepard
season,
too.
man. And Sterling Shepard out there making a few plays. Yeah, he's found his way into the end zone already this season with this Buccaneer offense, man. So, man, I like the Bucks here. I think. I mean, Ravens have they've gotten back on track. They've been running the football and doing really well and everything. But I think they get clipped a little bit this week, man. I think the Buccaneers, man, riding a whole lot of emotion down there. Everybody, all the situation with the hurricanes coming through and whatnot and all that type of stuff. I think they're just absorbing all of that right now, man, and going out there and just winging it, man. I mean, the Buccaneers have been playing great football, so yeah, I like what the Buccaneers are doing. So Baker Mayfield is balling. I gotta admit, he's balling.
He's
So I like Tampa
balling.
Bay.
Well
You
said.
know,
Well
people
said.
people laughed at Baker Mayfield. No, he's not a franchise quarterback. Get him out of here. Well, guess what? He's a franchise guy. He's the reason they're winning games, and he's going to be the reason they win this. I think I'm going to go with Mac here after heavy, thinking. This ain't Jaden Daniels. They ain't going to pull the wool over their eyes. You know, you ain't going to get rookie mistakes. You got a guy here who's out there dialing him up, right? And you saw what Joe Burrow did to the secondary. I'm not saying that Baker Mayfield is Joe Burrow, but what I am saying is he's going to try to throw the rock around. He's playing at an MVP like level. I didn't think I'd say that about Baker Mayfield, but you have to say that about Baker Mayfield because that's how well he's playing out there. And I think it continues. Like Max said, I think there's a lot going on in that area, and sometimes that can galvanize a team to kind of go through it with each other. Right? They're all going through it. I'm sure they have a lot of relatives going through it, and that stress, comes together, and you work for the man next to you because you know that he's going through the same stuff you're going through, and that's big. That type of emotion can carry you a long way, and I think that's what's going to carry the Buccaneers over the top.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's gonna be 3 for 3. I honestly looked at this game and I have the same feeling that Mac has. I think Baker Mayfield, man, he's gonna show out in prime time. Obviously, Lamar Jackson's gonna be Lamar Jackson. He's gonna run up and down the field, but in the big moments at the end of the game, when Tampa Bay either is gonna stop the Ravens, they're either gonna get the ball back, and Baker Mayfield's gonna score. The defense of Buccaneers, like I said, is gonna stop them in the red zone, and I can see either both. But yeah, honestly, both teams putting up some points, but the Buccaneers edging the victory.
Here's my premium take about that game. When the Buccaneers get the ball back, there's going to be a chant of MVP for the performance that Baker Mayfield puts up. That's right, folks. After this game, you will be talking about Baker Mayfield in that conversation.
Absolutely, and I apologize, guys. I'm not to get you guys sad, but this is the prime time game. This is actually on Monday night. Sorry about that. Two Monday nighters, guys. Two Monday nighters. We got Los Angeles Chargers versus the Cardinals for the second Monday night. Man, that kind of made me sad. Jets and Steelers on prime time. No, nasty. That being that being said, though, Los Angeles Chargers versus the Arizona Cardinals. I don't even know who I got in this one. If I have to choose, you know what? I'm gonna go take Jim and his team. I'm gonna take Jim. I'm gonna take the Chargers. No reason behind it. I just think the Cardinals are a shitty team right now. And I'm gonna take the Chargers, even though they're a shitty team as well. I just trust in Jim, and that is what it is. Go ahead, Adam.
I'm going to take the Chargers. I think this is a game they need to kind of win to get themselves in the playoff mix. I know at 3-3, their season is not necessarily over, but if you're the Chargers, this is a way to kind of, get yourself warmed up for down the road. You never know what's going to happen. Some people are picking the Chiefs to lose. So why not pick up a game against the Cardinals and see if you can get an inch closer to that Kansas City game, and that's when you'll really earn your money. So I think the Chargers are going to win this game in a rout.
Nicely said.
I think the Chargers do win. As well. I mean, last week you got a little symbol of a little bit of what we remember. The quarterback Justin Herbert is. He's an elite quarterback in this league. I mean, got off to a slow start statistically this season, but he's still been efficient. And last week we saw kind of what we remember him to be, slinging that ball around, and I think we're gonna get some more of that this week against the Arizona Cardinals, who's having a tough go at it, stopping the big play receivers, and I think Justin Herbert's gonna put up some numbers once again this week against the Cardinals and get the W.
Well said, guys. So that is probably gonna wrap the show up for our premium takes on Thursday the 17th. Keep in mind, guys, we are gonna be coming in live to you guys Thursday next week, and Halloween. I know Adam and Mac. Obviously, Adam with your kids. Are you available on Halloween? Obviously trick or treating and
Probably not.
going out with the family. But are you gonna be available?
No, I'll be out with the kids getting candy.
Absolutely.
Candy.
Absolutely. Candy. So maybe we can talk about Halloween show a little bit later. Maybe we can reschedule the Halloween show for a later time or a later day in that week. And maybe we can just do something special for Halloween and do what we usually do. This time of year we talk about, maybe our favorite horror movies, and we don't want to make it stale because we did an episode like that, or maybe we talk about just things Halloween related. We can for sure do that for you, Adam, but we'll talk about that a little bit later off stream. That being said, is there anything else you guys want to say before we get out of here? I'm good. If Adam is good, pass it over to Mac to end the
good.
show. Alrighty, let's get it. Thank you guys so much for watching us. Back to you, Mac.
Thanks again for joining another episode of the Premium Takes Podcast. I am Mac the Giants fan with my guys Adam, Costas, Zion, Zenith. We are the Horsemen. So make sure y'all definitely go hit them subscribe buttons, hit them thumbs up on all our channels. Mac the Giants fan, Adam Costas, Zion, Zenith. Support the movement. And definitely throw them fours up for our guy, NYG Jeffy T, man. Always here with us, man. Always here with us. This has been another edition of the Premium Takes Podcast. We'll see y'all next week.